Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothed the grass, which is today in the field and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind.
This is our kingdom, a kingdom of righteousness. Praise the Lord. Praise ye the Lord.
For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. To the kingdom of Israel!
Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua.
The election, an aristocracy, meaning rule of the best, a group or class considered superior to others, a government by the best men in the state, a governing body composed of the best men in the state, and that's the elect. We're about to have it all. Psalms 37 and verse 11, and it reads, "But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." That word for peace in the Hebrew is shalom, which goes into safety, soundness in body, meaning we're going to truly have rest, welfare, health, prosperity, peace, quiet, tranquility, contentment. So we're going to fully enjoy the planet Earth. We're going to rule and exist within the Lord's creation as we were created to do. I'm ready to rule the world, man. How about you?
Let the golden light of this sunset guide our hearts in peace.
Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
The ocean spirit dances today to abundance and joy and to eternal peace.
See, this is what we're hoping for. This is part of our hope. Not only that we are members of the elect, with fruits meet for repentance, like John the Baptist said, but from our low estate, because we've been brought low, even though we have this knowledge, we have this truth. Remember what it said in Revelation. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Why are we rich? Because we're rich in faith. We have this knowledge. So our hope is at our last end, we're going to be increased. Okay? And if you ask me, the greatest riches right now is to be delivered by Yahushua, is to get that new body that the Apostle Paul spoke about in 1 Corinthians 15th chapter, to get that, get that new body where we'll never be sick, we'll be immortal, like it said in 1 Corinthians 15. to be delivered from the coming destruction, and to be a part of Yahweh's cabinet in the next kingdom. Okay, those are the real riches right now. That's what we want to get. Because if you get that, you got everything. I mean, you got everything. Okay, so our sights are set a lot higher than this present world. All right, as it is written, the fashion of this world shall pass away. We are individuals of vision, and the scripture said, where an individual lacks vision, he perishes. Okay, so we can see the future. All right, and we hope that we're going to be part of it, beginning with the elect.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Kakodash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem Shah. All right, and what we're going to get into this morning, or this morning news and prophecy. All right, understanding, the politics, all right, and these small hat cowards, okay, and dealing with the politics of a lot of things that we're seeing going on, because I know it's a lot of confusion, when you watch, the media, they push out a lot of propaganda, they push out a lot of misinformation, they push a lot of, fluff news that doesn't mean anything, a lot of distractions, okay? So what we do, through the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Shah is tie everything into prophecy, okay? Because prophecy makes sense of everything, prophecy makes sense of it all, the politics, the alliances, the economics, okay? So forth and so on, and that's the beautiful thing about prophecy. It gives the understanding to the chaos, all right, the intentional chaos and misinformation, okay, of Esau, Edom's, okay, media. Okay, so we're going to go into some things and break it down in the scriptures, and Lord will, you brothers are there, you sisters are edified and informed, in these last days. So let's go here. Let's get this first. Okay. Let's deal with this in the book of Jeremiah, because see, and prophecy deals with the bigger picture, because certain times, certain brothers go into certain details, okay, of what's going on, all right, which the details add up to a bigger picture. The certain details are irrelevant, certain details, they paint, the overall bigger picture, so prophecy gives us the discernment of what details matter and what details don't. Okay. So when you go into Jeremiah 49:12, it said, "For thus said the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Shah, behold, days whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished." Okay, because we had to drink of this cup of captivity, okay, of slavery, you see, of being demoted, to the tail, okay, had to suffer, different genocides, okay, harsh treatment, okay. We had to drink of the cup of the Lord's punishment, okay. It says, "Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it." See, now it's time for Esau to drink of that cup. Okay, this is what we're seeing happening. The Lord is preparing the cup for Esau. Okay, Esau's finna lose. These other nations are going to lose with Esau, these other heathens. Okay, Esau is going to have the hardest fall within the Lord's judgment, within the Lord's wrath. Okay, and that's why you go to different. Let's go here. because it's all about prophecy being fulfilled. You know, and we're just seeing the things that leading to prophecy being fulfilled. Okay, so let's go to Lamentations 4:21. You know, it speaks to that cup. All right. It says Lamentations 4:21 says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom." Okay, so the scriptures is pretty much telling Esau, hey, to live it up. Okay, the end of his kingdom. That dwellest in the land of Uz, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. So there's a cup that's getting ready to be passed to Esau. Okay, and everything that the devil is trying to do to to keep himself in power, well, it's just bringing him closer to this cup. All right, the cup that's prepared, because Esau finna go into captivity. He's finna go into poverty. Okay, he's finna go into harsh slavery. All right, he's finna be ruled over with a iron fist. Okay, his families are going to be separated and sold off into captivity throughout the earth. Okay, he's going to have to deal with mass death of his people. He's going to deal with all these things as we had to deal with. Okay, so there's a cup that's being prepared for Edom. So the scriptures say, "Rejoice and be glad." Enjoy, this economy while it's up and running. Enjoy the convenience, all right, and the little perks that you have, because there's still, Edomites that have perks in this society, man. You have these Edomites that have, you still have an upper middle class amongst Edom. Okay, they get to kick it and chill in this society. Okay, now it's starting to, this economy is starting to reach, all right, Edomites, you middle class Edomites. Okay, now have been thrown into what they call the upper poor. Okay, but guess what? It's coming for you upper class Edomites next. It's going to work its way up all the way to the elites of Esau, Edom, man. So the Lord is doing as the love, the elder brother out in Orlando, Harya. Okay, he goes into how the Lord is putting on a master class of judgment. Okay, this is a master class that the Lord is putting on. All right, and the focal point of the judgment is the nation of Edom. All right, beginning with Amalek. You see, it said the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. And see, this is the gospel, the good news, because everything that we're going into is the Lord wrapping up our captivity. You see, we look at it from this perspective, man. We get into the details and the things of geopolitics that have to do with prophecy. Okay, but the bigger picture of everything is the Lord is wrapping up our captivity, man. Okay, our iniquity is accomplished, man. We're being punished for iniquity, and that punishment is almost up. Okay, and Esau, he's trying to extend, our captivity, because an extension of his rulership will be an extension of our captivity, man. And the Lord ain't having it, man. Okay, that's why prophecy is beginning to work against Esau, man. Okay, he's getting ready to lose. It says, "Oh, daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee away into captivity." This is it, because once we're delivered, we're going to be in that new covenant, man. And within that new covenant, okay, within the new covenant, we're going to be perfected. We're going to have those new bodies, man, and we're going to be forever in good standards with our power, because we're going to be perfect in righteousness, man. It's another thing too, as we watch these things unfold. Look, we finna come into that new covenant. We finna be changed, man. You see, there's nothing but bad news for Esau, and there's nothing but good news for the elect, man. Even when we so-called, because like I say, it really ain't no loss in Yahushua. Okay, because us separating from this world, us not being able to participate in this society for refusing to take the seat here, well, guess what? That's a win. Because it's just a transition. We finna get, all right, new bodies. We finna get inheritance with Yahushua. Okay, so these little possessions that we have in America, wherever we at in the world, wherever the elect is in the world, little things that we finna lose, man, ain't no loss, man. Okay, ain't no loss in Yahushua. You see, it says, "Oh, daughter of Edom, he will discover thy sins." Yeah, and that's why Esau, Edom is on the forefront. And it's beautiful how the Lord has these things playing out. okay, where Edom is being exposed. They're telling on each other, they're blackmailing. You got this going on, and these, because even with what's happening now, there's more talks, dealing with this memorandum of understanding, which we'll get into that too. But the small hats could release, more Epstein files to pressure Trump into, scrapping this whole thing and getting back to war. And we know, all right, due to prophecy, that that's going to happen, and the small hats are going to play a part in it too. So let's walk that down. That's why I started in Jeremiah 49. Okay, so we can walk this down to what we see playing out right now. So when we go into Jeremiah 49 and 13, immediately after, it speaks about, you Edomites not going unpunished. It said, "For I have sworn by myself, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shah, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste." Yeah. You see, all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste, man. Okay, so there's no good news for you Edomites. Okay, there's no good news for you Edomites, man, especially you Edomites in America. You're going to get the worst, man. Okay, so the Lord sworn by himself that Basra shall be a desolation. So now we're in the build up to that, because see, the Lord states this, he makes this hard statement. I swear by me, okay, I'm going to destroy America, man. This is what the Lord is saying. To put it in layman's term, the Lord is saying, I swear by me, by my name, by my reputation, I'm going to destroy America, man. Okay, so he makes this hard statement, and then he goes back to the build-up to, okay, America becoming a desolation. Because that's all this is leading up to. Okay, all these games and talks and peace talks and this and that, and all right, trying to implement this and implement that and trying to put this in the game and do this. No, this is what it's all leading to, man. Okay, this is Jeremiah 49 and 14. So I have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shah, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, "Gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle." These nations are rising up to the battle. These nations are aligning themselves to go to war with the whore, man. Okay, to go to war with these small hats. Okay, behind all these peace deals, these nations are preparing for war. Okay, they are integrating, their militaries, their technology. All right, Iran, all right, is integrating this military with Chinese tech. Okay, and Russian technology. North Korea and Iran have a long relationship when it comes to missile technology. Okay, so you have these nations gathering for a battle. Okay, because they're sitting at the table with America. Okay, but they're just like Esau. The scripture speak about how they speak of peace, but war was in their heart. Well, that's how these nations are dealing with Esau now. They come to the table speaking peace, but war is in their heart, is in their mind. Okay, because they know that's how he get down. They know not to put their guards down with the devil, man. Okay, so we hear these talks about peace deals and this and that, and things getting back to what they were. No, these nations have their finger on the trigger. Okay, as they're so-called talking and so-called peace deal, where their hand is on the trigger. You see? And ultimately, these whole peace deals is mainly a ploy to buy time, because they're building up for this next round. Okay, because this is going to collapse, because these small hats, because everybody know that these small hats, okay, are going to sabotage any type of peace, man. Okay, because their role in prophecy is to provoke war. That's all they're here for. So they're doing exactly, all right, what the Lord wants them to do, man. They're in the exact spirit that the Lord wants them to be in. You see these small hats, man. Jeremiah 49 and 15, it says, "For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men." And see what's happening with America. America's role is diminishing on the global stage. Okay? So the authority that America, once had, okay, as this this unstoppable hegemony in the world, well, that's coming to a screeching halt. Okay, and this is the Lord said He would do this. You see, now the elites want to destroy the American society, okay, and weaken them drastically to make them fit into this new world order. You see, but when you go into this American system, the economy and the military, well, that's been the elite's main tool, okay, to control the earth, man. You see, because through debt, all right, and then being able to enforce, okay, this economy upon the world with what? The military, man. You see, but see, that's becoming less and less effective, okay, because why? The Lord is raising up, okay, an alliance of nations, okay, that the West can't deal with, okay. And it says, verse 16, thy terribleness have deceived thee, and thy pride of thine heart, for thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thyself as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, said the Lord. Yeah, because America is riding this wave of, this, of its resume of being able to just terrorize these nations with no, with no consequence. You see, man, that's why America, Trump was saying, "Oh, this will be over in a few days." You see, this is this, which we know Trump is just a puppet that's being told what to do. Okay, he's just the spokesman, okay, of the agenda of these Western oligarchs. Okay, but he just parroting the talks behind the scenes. Okay, because America has been used to going in, swooping in, and getting things done quickly against these weaker nations, man. Okay, making these nations tap out quickly. Okay, set up, certain deals to where the American economy, all right, which when you say the American economy, you're talking about the system where the oligarchs enrich themselves. That's the American economy. The American society survive off the crumbs of the oligarchs. Okay, and most of us, Israelites, we survive off the crumbs of the crumbs. You see, in this system, in this economy. Okay, so the American economy, all right, is used to, the American economy and the military that used to having this way with these nations. Okay, it's the hammer of the earth. You see, but now they're hammering their head against something hard. Okay, and they can't break it like it's, like they just broke up Afghanistan, they broke up, Iraq, they broke up Syria, they broke up, Venezuela and other, Central South and American governments. Okay, they just broke them up, and established, their systems within those governments that benefited what the American, it fed the empire. Okay, and that was their plans with Iran. All right, but hey, they the hammer hit Ezekiel 38. Okay, things are not going according to plan exactly how they want. Okay, that's why you see, it's like this nigga is winging certain things, man. There's certain things that were in the making, okay, that he's being able to achieve. Okay, but then there's certain things, all right, they got this devil out here winging it, man. Okay, because now he has to deal with prophecy. You see, so when you read this in the NLT, it says you have been deceived. This Jeremiah 49:16 says you have been deceived by the fear you inspire in others and by your own pride. Yeah, so he's been deceived by how he's been able to dominate for so long. And then he goes unchecked. Okay, and see, it was like, okay, he's able to do this. Ain't nobody checking him about it. So it's like, okay, this nigga is the bad man of the earth. Okay, but the whole time the Lord has been putting together, all right, an alliance of nations, that he will raise up at the point in time to start getting busy with the West, man. And that's what we're seeing, man. And Iran is just the tip of the spear, okay, of this alliance of nations that's going to keep getting busy with the West, man. Okay? And that's why you see this nigga becoming small, because even with these whole, what we seeing with the fact that, you know, America is having to compromise, shows you that they're becoming insignificant. As it says in Jeremiah 49:15, I will make these small. Okay, one definition for that word small is insignificant, unimportant. Okay, so now these nations are handling America like, you know, it's unimportant. You know, telling America, no, nigga, we gonna meet here. This is what we gonna have the meeting at. We ain't gonna talk. This is what we gonna talk about. Because even going with this memorandum of understanding, okay, which I said we're gonna get that once we leave to Jeremiah, just to get understanding what that is. Iran is just telling America what they're gonna talk about. Okay, the fact that America has had to lift sanctions, you see, on Iran. Okay, the fact that they're gonna have to release, you know, Iranian money back to Iran. These nations are looking at this like, man, America weak as hell, man. America's for the taking. America finna get took, man. Okay? America had its run, it's over. You see, the elites had their run, it's over. Okay? Now, on the flip side, of course, because you have, you know, things that are working in the background. Okay? Because Iran, you know, getting those sanctions lifted off and getting that money, well, they're just another tactic, because the elites wanted to bully Iran, okay, into the system. That didn't work. So now they're having to compromise, okay, and they're putting together a sellout package, okay, for Iran, okay. But we know, according to scriptures, all right, that money, okay, is not going to get America out to judgment. It's not going to stop, all right, the prophecy of the elites going into captivity. Okay, they can't buy their way out of this one, man. You see, because everybody has their assignment according to prophecy, man. So we see things happening because these nations are operating with a long-term view for their nation, for their government. They're trying to, you know, position themselves. All of them are trying to position themselves for this new world order. Okay, so there's a, you know, a struggle of power and placement going into this new world order. So we're seeing that play out. Okay, so it says, you have been deceived by the fear you inspire in others and by your own pride. You live in a rock fortress and control the mountain heights. But even if you make your nest among the peaks with the eagles, I will bring you crashing down, says the Lord. So here it is, the devil, all right, has this great pride because what he's been able to do for so long. Okay, America has been able to just throw his weight around and do what it wants throughout the earth. Okay, America was never bound to international law. Other nations were, but America has never been bound to international law. Okay, America always went about, okay, and that's the privilege of empire. You can make the rules as you go. Okay, and especially when you have the military and the economy to back it up. Okay, but what's happening, all right, that the military and the economy is not having the effect that it once had. These sanctions don't affect like they used to. Okay, the military doesn't have that bite that it used to. Okay, it's more bark now. That's why you see a lot of barking. Okay, because their bite ain't what it used to be. You see, so you just hear mostly barking now. Okay, coming out the West, man. Okay, because at the end of the day, man, there's a lot of ways these devils could crash this thing. Okay, but what we're seeing now is these devils is having to make compromise because they're, all right, losing their bite. You see, so this matter of fact, let's go back here, and they're being rushed into this new world order, you know, because it was up to these devils. We would have been in this new world order system, man. See, the elites deal with setbacks. things not going their way all the time, because it's the timing of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. Okay, the leases that they're not 100% efficient. Okay, they have, you know, hiccups and setbacks, and okay, they be having to pivot. You know, they're still able to accomplish particular things, man, but they're not 100%. Okay, certain things, you know, work in their favor. Certain things happen on the fly that work in their favor. Okay, but ultimately, it's what the Lord wants, and it's the timing of the Lord. You see, the lease on the Lord's time. Okay, so when you go to Jeremiah 49:17, it says, also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by shall be astonished and shall hiss at the plagues thereof, man. Yeah, it's going to be complete destruction, man. Going back to that destruction. You see, so the scriptures are talk about the destruction, then they go into the build up to the destruction, and they talk about the destruction some more. Okay, is in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the native cities thereof, said the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, no man shall abide there, neither shall the Son of Man dwell in it. Yeah, it's going to be uninhabited. Okay, the American landmass is going to be uninhabited, man. That's what all this is leading up to. Okay, I don't care how many papers they sign and, you know, how much propaganda they push. It's going to, this thing leads in America being a smoking desert. Okay, and most of you people in America are being in it while it's set on fire. Okay, it said verse 20 said, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. See, there's a purpose working against Edom. You see, Esau is fighting against prophecy. Okay, which that's his role in prophecy, is to fight against prophecy, man. Okay, and prophecy gonna prevail. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, man. Yeah, so what we're getting ready to see, the least of the flock, these small hats, man, they're in a position to do something impulsive. Okay, because their role is to provoke war. See, the least of the flock drawing them out is not a one-all, you know, thing, you know, because they drug America to this conflict. Okay, you know, to drag someone is to, you know, to force someone into a conflict. Okay, because these American generals and American military personnel, they was against this, man, because they understood what type of task this would be. Okay, and now, all right, as you see America trying to backtrack, well, the small hat's going to kick this thing off again. They're going to do something, man. Okay, you best believe they in the cut, all right, because they're supposed to sign. Matter of fact, let's get into this this what you call a M. Probably been hearing this a lot lately these last few days, but when you go into, all right, just ask, what is a memorandum of understanding? So this is what's supposed to be signed tomorrow. All right, you've been hearing this MOU. You know, you've been watching, you know, you hear, you know, you've been watching geopolitics, you've been talking about MOU. Okay, so a memorandum of understanding is a formal, non-legally binding document used by two or more parties to outline their intentions. So pretty much it's an agreement, okay, to have negotiations. All right, now America is trying to spin it, you know, Trump is trying to spin it like this great victory, like, okay, we got the scrape back open, you know, because of me, I went and made this big deal. That's how Trump is going to spin it. You see, if you get caught up in that, then you're getting caught up in the distraction, okay, in the theater of what's going on, okay? But when you go into it, what this really means is nothing but this is an agreement to have negotiations, okay? And that this is what we're going to negotiate. You know, now within this, you have, you know, Iran has requested sanctions being lifted. So sanctions have been lifted, all right, as of today. the sanction has been lifted off Iranian oil, which they're free because Iran controlled the Strait. So Iranian oil is still coming out anyway. Okay, it's just other countries that are all right allies to the West, their oil is not moving. Okay, so it's like, all right, let's lift sanctions on Iranian oil, so now Iran can sell their oils on the market. Okay, now let's say with the elites, they play both sides, so they could be all right, reeling Iran in economically, you know, allowing them to have certain perks, you know, to enrich, you know, their government, okay, to make a sweet deal for Iran to fully come into this new system. You see, so you have that play as well, okay. But no matter how it play out, prophecy gonna prevail, and it's all working in our favor. Okay, so it says a memorandum, a memorandum, all right, of understanding is a formal, non-legally binding document used by two or more parties to outline their intentions, shared goals, and collaborative responsibility. It serves as a foundational roadmap for working together in good faith before drafting a strict, legally enforceable contract. So this is something that's not legally binding, all right, which means the small hats can do something drastic and all this goes away. Okay, and they're right back, you know, to where they were, you know, before this MOU. Okay, it says non-binding nature. Unlike a standard contract, an MOU does not create enforceable legal obligation. If a party fails to uphold the agreement, the consequences are typically reputational or administrative rather than punishable in the court of law. It says shared intent. It highlights a mutual willingness to move forward and achieve a common objective. Okay, so I say it's just an agreement to give a framework to negotiations. Okay, so this is an agreement to a framework of negotiation. But while they're doing this, everybody's hand is on the trigger. Okay, everybody's hand is on the trigger while they have this going on because they know the West can't be trusted. Okay, they know the West can't be trusted. So what you see on the side of the West, you know, they're able to try to save face, you know, and try to twist it as some type of victory for the West. But see, those that know, they know this is what they call a strategic loss for America, man. Okay, because what you have in war, you call protect your gains. So everything that Iran has gained, all right, which is control of the Strait and the ability to make money off the Strait, well, they just want that to be protected in writing. You know, they're saying, well, look, let's put this in writing. This is official, okay, that we have control of the Straits. Okay. So they like, look, we gained the Straits through fighting, and we're gonna keep the Straits. So we can put it in writing. Okay, because remember, these nations have ambition. Okay, and everything that they gain is gonna be short-lived. Okay, because at the end, Yahweh Shah is gonna come through and destroy all the militaries of the earth. Okay, but before then, we're gonna see these nations, all right, begin to how can I say it? They're beginning, let's say, to position themselves, okay, to be as strong as possible going into the New World Order. You see? So what we're seeing is these nations fighting to get into the door. All right, to sit down, okay, at the table of this New World Order. You see? So these nations are fighting their way into the door. And there's certain alliances, all right, that are being made according to what the scriptures, because going back to the Strait of Hormuz, now the West spin it like it's closed, it's closed, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. See, that's the narrative that they're running with. But the reality of it, Iran controls it, okay? And you have nations, they're having to pick a side. In order to get your energy out of the Strait, you got to go make a deal with Iran, India. That's why America shot missiles at Indian tankers. Okay, with the blockade. You see, because India went and made that deal. South Korea went and made the deal. The UEA, all right, the UAE, okay, they're in the talks of making a deal, okay, because they want their oil to come through there. You see, because this new world order takes a lot of energy, man. There's a lot of energy, man. America, and no one uses more energy than America, okay, and China. Okay, and if America would have got control of the Straits, they would have had that. They would have had, a major leverage on China. Okay, because if these nations work together, they're integrated. Their economies, it's not a thing of integrity. There's no integrity amongst these nations, especially dealing with America. They know they can't trust America, man. So they got deals and things where they work together, but then there's also every nation is looking out for themselves, man. Okay, so it's in interest. The Lord got it set up to where it's in the interest of China to back Iran. It's in the interest of Russia to back Iran, because they know that if Iran falls, there will be major leverage that America will have on China and Russia. Okay, so you have China and Russia, and that's another thing that's been happening, these last few weeks, man. Just been hearing in these echo chambers of these geopolitics, how, even since the ceasefire going back to April 8th, how much more integrated China and Russia have become into Iran's military. And they know this. That's why in America, they're trying to regroup. This is a whole nother thing. They wasn't prepared for all this, man. Okay, you gotta understand, there's things that happen that the elites can't prepare for. There's certain things that they try to pull off, and things happen that they're not prepared for, man. Okay, they're not all knowing. Okay, there's a lot of things that they have mapped out, and they think steps ahead, and they have certain things, but then there's certain corners they can't see around. They got blind spots, man. Okay, so this alliance of Russia, Iran, and China, and then we haven't even mentioned Turkey. Another thing, Pakistan ain't no peep squeak. You hear Pakistan and you think, Jasmine Rice and the nigga playing the flute for the snake coming out the basket. You think, no. Pakistan ain't no joke. All right, militarily. Okay, Pakistan can get down. You see, Pakistan, they done showed themselves, just looking at little glimpses of these little conflicts they have with India. And India is a much bigger nation, but Pakistan get down. Okay. So you have Pakistan in the mix. They're with Iran. They're with the East. Matter of fact, there's a railroad that they're working on now that's going to go from Iran through Pakistan up to Russia and China. They're doing that now. See, this is what's happening while America is scrambling, and the shit show of America and the small hats. The East is building out. The kings of the East is building things out, man. They're putting up infrastructure that bypass American systems, and their infrastructure is going up. Okay, so there's a railroad that's getting ready that they're building that's coming from Iran, Pakistan, Russia, and China. See, the kings of the East are they bossing up. Okay, because they have a role in prophecy, man. Okay, and we're seeing it play out. It says early, yeah, that's it though. That's pretty much it, dealing with the memorandum of understanding. All right, or what they refer to as the MOE. Okay, it's just an agreement to have negotiations. Okay, so I want to play this video here. Let's play this real quick. Dealing with Pepe. Now this guy Pepe and Larry Johnson, they have a new channel. And they got a source in Pakistan that's been pretty legit, dealing with let me see. Yeah, so let's go here.
30 days, then the crucial next 60 days. I would say that the absolute majority of all of us independent analysts, we don't believe that the Americans are going to fulfill even 10% of what they're promising. Because if they do, most of these key points, they spell out major strategic defeat. They simply cannot admit it. And this is not a matter of Trump. Trump is a messenger, a lowly messenger, the boss or whatever, but come on. The people who run the show treat Trump as, okay, our messenger boy. The ruling elites in the US, they cannot possibly admit that. Because the big picture, the big plan includes subduing Iran, regime change, controlling the Strait of Hormuz, controlling energy flowing from Iran, and most of all, imposing the petrodollar on Iran and everybody else. Well, everybody else, they already do petrodollar, but stop having ideas of deviating from the petrodollar. For that, they need to conquer Iran. So they won't deviate. This is the master plan, and they won't deviate. The war, once again, something that you and our audience, all of you already know. It's a war against Iran, against Eurasian integration, against Russia-China strategic partnership, against the whole of Eurasia, against BRICS, against SCO, against the global south. And conquering Iran is an essential plank for this war to go on, which brings us to the key question. Will this war be subdued from now on? No, it's going to change its character a little bit. It's going to be maybe slightly slower, the progression, than until 3 months ago or during the war. But we're still going to have hybrid war. We're still going to have black ops, dirty ops, underground ops, destabilization ops, attempts at regime change. Nothing will change. So this is the empire backing off for a while, reorganizing, but they will continue later on. And this,
exactly, you know, like I say, because they need their regime change. Okay, this is what the devils wanted, their regime change when they went day one and took out, all right, the supreme leader and certain leaders. They was going for regime change. Okay, they expected to Iran regime to collapse after that, and they had certain plants, you know, within Iran. Okay, certain people of high ranking that was in Iran, you know, that they was staging, okay, to take over the government. You see, but they got snuffed out. You know, it's certain leaders, okay, people that was a part of Iran, they got found out to be, Mossad, all right, compromised by Mossad. They got hung, man. So there's a lot. You see, the West play these games and these stupid that you see. Look at Trump with all these tweets, and most of that's irrelevant. Okay, that's why I said you gotta go with the okay. What's really happening? Okay, what's really happening? You see, something didn't go right somewhere. You see, because it's very tacky how these niggas moving. Something didn't go right somewhere. Because okay, oh, this the energy crisis. Well, goddamn, gas going down. Okay. Well, they got the perfect narrative to where they can just shut the pumps off. Okay, but these devils, they're trying to accomplish something, man. Okay, and what's gonna happen? These devils gonna get frustrated. They're just gonna have to wild out, and they just gonna have to throw their Hail Mary, man. They say, "F it," you know, switch over, mandate this, you know, boom, boom, hey, shut everything down. Okay. The script say, well, he should be like a madman sparing none. It's gonna be out of frustration, man. Okay, we always get it. Isaiah 44, 24, 25, Baba Shah. Okay, so like Pepe said, the war is gonna get slower. Okay, but the West is just gearing up for another round. Okay, and the East is gearing up too. Okay, so they're gonna clash again. All right, and you can bet these small hats gonna play their role in prophecy and provoke. They're gonna do something impulsive, man. Okay, but they supposed to sign this thing tomorrow. Tomorrow Friday, so they supposed to sign it tomorrow. Okay, and the small hats, man, and especially if they assassinate one of these Iranian diplomats, man. Oh my goodness. If they assassinate, the small hats assassinate one of these Iranian diplomats. Oh my goodness. Okay, and I hope these niggas do, man. That's all these niggas good for, right? Because they suck at war. But when it comes to assassination, that's their thing because that's their role in prophecy, man. So hopefully this is what these niggas do, man. You see? So this is a pretty good interview. He goes into a lot that's going on. It's a good interview to watch. And I'm gonna they got a new channel too. Him and Larry Johnson got a channel, which I gotta tap into it some more, kind of comb through, see what they talking about. But let's put this one in here. And then I want to go to their new page. I think it's transition protocol. What is that channel? There you go. I think this is here. Cause they had blocked the other channel. Cause like I said, they got an inside source with the Pakistani, which Pakistan is heavy in the mix. Which Pakistan is one of those kings of the East. But yeah, this is the channel here. So yeah, I gotta get caught up with them. Let's see, shit. Copy. But yeah, just so our brothers can have this new channel. It's him and Larry Johnson. They're pretty. Like I say, it's only so far they can go. But we just use them to extrapolate certain information. All right, they lined up with props. Of course they, go left a lot of things. But let's cue this one up here because in the midst of all this what the small has got going on. In the midst of all this, okay, these goddamn cowards. Okay. And if a brother can post that too, Sirach, 10 and 2, Baba Shah. Brother can post it. But yep, man, we can get this all the time, man. This is the brother's servants of Yahushua 144, Isaiah 44 and 24 through 25. It said, thus said the Lord thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens, okay, alone, that spread, all right, that spread it abroad the earth by myself. Okay, so the Heavenly Father, when he makes these statements, okay, he's separating himself from these frauds, man. Esau makes it seem as if he can recreate creation, as if he has enough, like he has the capability, like he has enough data and knowledge and power to recreate creation, man. Okay, and what the Lord is finna do, what the Lord is doing is embarrassing Esau. He's showing this nigga how limited he is, man. Esau is gonna go out in a very embarrassing fashion, man. Okay, the Lord's gonna embarrass this nigga for even trying to attempt this, man. To trying to pull this off, man. For trying to play the Most High. He's gonna go out in a very embarrassing fashion, man. Very dishonorable how Esau getting ready to go out. Okay? It says that frustrated the tokens of liars and make it diviners mad, man. And you best believe this nigga is frustrated. Okay? Diviners, all these, you know, these enchantments, he tapped into the left-hand side. None of this shit is gonna work. That's why scripture say, stand now with thy enchantments, thou mayest prevail. That's the Most High mocking this nigga, man. Okay, stand with these enchantments, man. You got this, you know. Yeah, you tapped into this, you got this going on, you got the discern, the heart, like nigga, tap in. Most High mocking this nigga, like nigga, tap in, man. You might can pull some off. Okay? Tap in with your enchantments and prognosticators and astrologers. You see? And it says that turn the wise men backward and make their knowledge foolish, man. Esau's gonna go out looking like a goddamn fool. Okay, it's not gonna be a thing like, man, that nigga was close, man. That nigga, he was almost like the Most High. No, he's gonna be a running joke in the kingdom for 1,000 years. Okay, talking about the stories of this nigga trying to be the Most High with this technology, man. He's gonna be a running joke in the kingdom, man. Is this the man? You see? So let's see this brother post. Yeah. So let's play this real quick. These small hats, and here it is. These are the one that start all this shit. Okay, but they're cowards, just like the elites, Amalek, the elite bankers. They're cowards, man. Okay, these small hats start all this shit, but now, all right, that they're being conscripted to go to war, and this lets you know because these small hats are getting belt to ass over there. See, that's another thing with these small hats. Now, they keep playing in the media the airstrikes that they're doing in Beirut. And you keep hearing this and like, man, you think these niggas tough? You think these niggas is unstoppable? They're doing airstrikes on civilians. It's fighter jets versus civilians. Okay? It's fighter jets, it's an Air Force, it's $1 trillion Air Force versus civilians. Okay, and you keep hearing that ongoing story, and it's like, oh man, these niggas tough, these niggas unstoppable. No, they're not. They trash. Okay, because when they get on the ground with Hezbollah, they lose. They get destroyed. Okay, tanks out of there. Ground troops out of there. A lot of these small hats scared to go into southern Lebanon. That's why they had to blow everything up. Okay? Before they even attempt to try to occupy certain areas, they got to do so many airstrikes, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of airstrikes. Then the troops come in to the rubble. Okay? They not going on the ground and taking things. All right? No. They have to do these crazy amount of airstrikes, and then they go occupy a little small portion, and they make it seem like they just this great military, all right, machine. No, they trash. Okay, and these Amalekites ain't no warriors; they cowards, man. Okay, now let's play this.
Thousands of ultra-Orthodox demonstrators flooded the area outside Israel's Beit Lid military prison on Wednesday, transforming the facility into the center of one of the country's biggest anti-conscription protests as tensions over mandatory military service reached a new flashpoint. With fears mounting that protesters could attempt to storm the base where draft evaders are being held, the Israel Defense Forces rushed in additional security, deployed military police personnel, and placed nearby troops on standby, underscoring the seriousness of the situation. The dramatic standoff unfolded against the backdrop of Israel's deepening military manpower crisis and an increasingly bitter dispute over the enlistment of Haredi men. According to Israeli media, the demonstration was organized in solidarity with an ultra-Orthodox draft evader imprisoned at the Nave Sedek military prison inside the Beit Lid base. The protest drew thousands of followers from the Gur Hasidic dynasty, the largest Hasidic sect in Israel, after its spiritual leader, Rabbi Yaakov Arya Alter, called on supporters to gather during his visit to the detained student. United Torah Eugenism chairman Yitzhak Goldknopf also joined the rally, where he was seen leading prayers and reciting psalms before the massive crowd.
Finish. Look at this nigga socks. I was going to say something, man. Sock, it's through, man. Okay. So you, if a brother could put that in Mark, look at chapter 3, Kingdom Divided, and it's beautiful, man. You know, brother can put that Sirach 25:7. It's beautiful. These small hats, okay, they're kicking and screaming not to go to war, okay. But when their air force is terrorizing civilians, then these are same small hats that are in the streets celebrating, drinking, talking shit. Okay. But now, all right, they need boots on the ground and go to southern Lebanon. All right. You see, nigga shot. You know what I'm saying? Nigga. Oh man, this is beautiful, man. You Amalekites ain't got it. You never had it. Okay. So as their protector, and they see a lot of these small hats boldness came from America. Okay. But if America's getting belt to ass, okay, by Iran, okay, and it only gets worse, okay, now we're starting to see the true cowardice of these small hats, man. Okay, so let's play some more.
Religious leaders insisted the gathering was intended to be peaceful. Rabbi Chaim Denderowitz, head of the Imri Emet Yeshiva, told demonstrators they had assembled with prayers, not violence, arguing that Torah scholars were being unfairly branded as draft dodgers. He accused authorities for targeting religious students while ignoring other societal problems, and controversially compared the arrests of yeshiva students to the persecution of religious believers under the communist regimes of Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin. The protest came only hours after another surprise Haredi demonstration disrupted traffic on Israel's Highway 4, highlighting the growing scale of nationwide resistance to the military draft. Authorities warned of major congestion around Highway 57, Beit Lid Junction, and Kfar Yonah, while police prepared extensive roadblocks to contain the swelling crowds. Residents living near the military base voiced frustration and anxiety as demonstrations continued to disrupt daily life. Some complained that repeated protests had made it demonstrations.
That nigga got out of there. That might be Jake, that nigga that ran across the screen, you know. But hey, this is what they wanted to happen in Iran, but the exact opposite has happened. Iran people are more unified than ever. Okay, and they're having to deal with civil unrest, and this is authentic civil unrest. Okay, let's see this nigga came across the screen. This nigga might be Jake.
Continued to disrupt daily life. Some complained that repeated protests had made it difficult to access their homes and accused authorities of failing to prevent prolonged disruptions. The demonstrations reflect Israel's intensifying debate over compulsory military service after the country's high court ended long-standing blanket exemptions for many ultra-Orthodox men in 2024. With the war in Gaza and regional security pressures stretching the Israel Defense Forces, the issue has become one of the most politically explosive challenges facing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government, as religious leaders continue resisting efforts to expand conscription among full-time Torah students.
Dozens of ultra-Orthodox protests.
Yeah, so you got certain restrictions. All right, these niggas trying to get religious exemptions. Talking about they're full-time Torah student. Nah, nigga, put that Torah down. Okay, we need you on the front line, my boy. Okay, and that book ain't for you anyway. Okay, going to the Torah. All which goes into the first 5 books of Moses. Okay, it's not for you anyway. All right. You see, now you gonna put that Torah down. They're gonna give you that AR. All right, and drop you off in Lebanon. Okay. Else we're gonna knock the small hats off these niggas, man. Sideburns through. Okay.
Protesters brought one of Israel's busiest highways to a standstill, clashing with police in chaotic scenes that underscored the country's deepening internal divide over military conscription. Stun grenades, mounted police, and dramatic arrests unfolded on Route 4 near Bnei Brak as demonstrators protested the detention of Haredi draft evaders, turning the morning rush hour into a battleground and reigniting one of Israel's most explosive political disputes. According to Israeli police, dozens of Haredi demonstrators blocked Route 4 near the ultra-Orthodox city of Bnei Brak, bringing traffic to a halt during peak commuting hours. Authorities declared the gathering an illegal demonstration after protesters refused repeated orders to disperse. Police said several demonstrators crawled under vehicles to prevent security forces from reopening the highway, prompting officers to launch crowd control operations.
The niggas crawling under cars. Okay? So I bet these niggas don't want to go to war, man. These niggas crawling under cars. You see? Goddamn cowards, man.
Videos circulating on social media appeared to show police deploying stun grenades before dragging protesters from the roadway.
Look at this nigga, they done damn near told a jacket.
On social media appeared to show police deploying control operations. Videos circulating on social media appeared to show police deploying.
Yeah, they done told the jacket out this nigga, man. Okay? And dragging these niggas across the street. So all this energy protesting, nigga, y'all can take this to go to the front line. You see? Y'all need to take this energy to the front line, man. If you this adamant, you got this much energy to protest, because you ain't against war, nigga. You just don't want to go. You see, when you was fighting, when they was fighting people that couldn't fight back, these same people celebrate. Okay? So you're not against war. You're not against, all right, the terror of your government or your idea of, okay, military force, man. Nigga, you just don't want to go out there because you know when folks ain't playing. Okay? You know they ain't playing, and your Air Force is not getting the job done. You see? Well, yeah, they just didn't told this nigga out his jacket. Okay?
Stun grenades before dragging protesters from the roadway. Mounted police units were also brought in to help clear the highway. Police later confirmed that 5 protesters had been arrested and announced that Route 4 had been fully reopened after officers dispersed the crowd. The clashes immediately triggered a fierce political backlash from Israel's ultra-Orthodox leadership. Shas chairman Aryeh Deri publicly criticized National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, accusing.
And this is a super demon, this nigga here being gear. You know, they had tried to, when they killed Netanyahu brother, you know, they were trying to get at him too. All right, but this nigga weaseled out. Okay, but this nigga being gear is a demon, a big demon too, man. You know? But yeah, man, it's falling apart, it's collapsing. You see, we're seeing the fall of our enemies, man. Okay, and we're seeing the cowardice nature, okay, of Esau. Okay, when he don't have that upper hand like that, because he's not a warrior, he's a hunter. You see, hunters have an upper hand on what they're hunting. You see, If you see a war, you gotta match wheel for wheel. Okay? And you just look at these niggas, man. Look. Let's get that precept real quick. Let's look at this nigga, man. And these niggas been playing tough for so long, just had the world fooled like they was just this, you know. This is the brother, you call Hope for 144, Sirach 10 and 2. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner or rule the city is. I said, what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. And the least of cowards, man. Because nigga, they don't nobody ever see them. Okay? And then you look at, you know, the leadership of these small hats, man. These people ain't men of war. They're not on the front line. Because you look at the people that you know, you look at Iranian government, all those men fought in that war, going back to that Iran-Iraq war, the 80s. You know, all them old heads that you see in the Iranian military, I mean the Iranian government, those men fought in their war with Iraq, which Iraq was sponsored by, all right, the American military, financed by America and the small hats. You know, they unleashed chemical weapons on Iran, and Iran still, you know, they prevailed. Okay, because Iran has a role in prophecy. But those men that you see that are in these top positions in Iranian government, all those men are war hardened. Okay, they come from their cloth. You see, but then Luke got a nigga like this in this big ass Nautica shirt, you know, telling you to go to the front line. And you know this nigga ain't never did nothing. Okay, but a bunch of PDF file, okay, and you know, drinking, you know, the red stuff that come out of people. Okay, sacrificing, you know, you know, circumcising children with their mouth. Okay, this is what they own, man. So nah, man, you Amalekite, you don't breed no warriors, man. You breed PDF file, sick, twisted, because even those Palestinians, you have rumors like IDF, certain Palestinian prisoners, you know, the IDF soldiers you know, grape them till they paralyzed, man. The men, they're graping the men. Okay, they just some sick, you know, there's some sickos, man. Okay, and the Lord finna get these niggas out of here, man. You see, so let's play a little more.
Police of using excessive force against Haredi demonstrators while allegedly showing greater restraint toward anti-government protesters. Wake up and stop the police violence against Torah scholars, Derry demanded, calling for immediate intervention. United Torah Judaism lawmaker Meir Porus also condemned the operation, arguing that the treatment of demonstrators resembled tactics used by authoritarian governments rather than a democratic state. He compared the police response to practices seen in countries such as Turkey and Iran, accusing authorities of using disproportionate force against.
Well, wait a minute, doesn't he call all these other leaders dictators and inhumane and well, goddamn, what is this? Okay, doesn't he call all these other leaders, you know, Gaddafi and, you know, Saddam, you know, Iran, the Ayatollah? Okay, doesn't he call them inhumane? Okay, Chavez down there in Venezuela when he was in, you know, these inhumane animals, barbaric, you know, leaders. But goddamn, you know, this nigga dragging 3 niggas at a time, though.
religious protesters. Opposition leader Yair Lapid responded sharply, accusing the ultra-Orthodox political leadership of hypocrisy. In a social media post, Lapid argued that Haredi parties support coalition governments that send other Israelis into military service, while simultaneously encouraging resistance to enlistment within their own communities. He described the situation as a moral stain on the government. The latest unrest follows a series of escalating demonstrations over the arrest of Haredi draft evaders. Days earlier, extremist ultra-Orthodox protesters gathered outside the residence of Supreme Court President Isaac Amit to protest the detention of a yeshiva student accused of avoiding military service. Earlier this month, rioters also attacked the home of Deputy Supreme Court President Noam Solberg, damaging property while attempting to force their way inside. The demonstrations reflect the widening national dispute over military exemptions for ultra-Orthodox men. Following a 2024 High Court ruling ending blanket exemptions, the Israel Defense Forces began issuing tens of thousands of draft notices to eligible Haredi men. Many have refused to report, resulting in arrests and legal action. As Israel continues fighting on multiple fronts following the October 7 Hamas attack, military leaders have repeatedly warned of severe manpower shortages, while Haredi parties continue demanding legal protection for Torah students from compulsory military service.
Goddamn cowards, man. You know? Well, let's get a few of these. All right, some of your brothers' precepts. So this the brother. All right, this the brother GMSDC, Taza Dagda, Yara. All right, Mark 3:24 says, and if a kingdom be divided against himself, that kingdom cannot stand. And these devils are divided on every level, man. Okay, the Most High got these niggas scrambling. Okay, like I said, even Jacob's trouble, Esau is going to be in his anger. You know, the civil unrest is because it's going to be a frustrated Edomite. Okay, and the Lord's going to, you know, he's intentionally frustrating Esau for Esau to lash out. And see, when Esau was angry, he lashed out at civilians. Okay, he ain't got no invasion plan to go to Russia. He ain't got no invasion plan to go to China. You're not going to hear the IDF talking about, well, let's invade Iran. No. Okay, they're going to go to civilians. When this nigga gets, okay, when he gets embarrassed, he goes to, you know, it's embarrassed militarily. He goes to civilians. That's what a coward would do. Okay. You see, like you know, a man get, you know, beat up at the bar, you know, and then come home and beat up his woman. Okay, that's the spirit of Esau. You see, so we're going to see this man get ready to lash out on civilians, man. Okay, because you go into prophecy, he speaks about the kings of the east invading and coming west. You see, you don't hear about them going to invade a goddamn thing. All right, and those men that America is going to send over there, it said their stink shall rise up in that desert, man. Okay, they're going to get obliterated over there. Okay, so what we're seeing is these devils, they're frustrated, they're divided. Okay, you know, their cowardice is showing. Okay, they're not able to play tough. You see, so we're gonna see this man in his frustration lash out on civilians, man. Okay, verse 25 says, and if a house be divided against itself, their house cannot stand. It can't keep going like this. Okay, these niggas undecided. You know, they arguing about, okay, what's the next move? Okay, so it's set to fall, man. The Lord has this place set to fall. All right, and it's beautiful that the Lord is allowing us to see, okay, this double fall, man. Okay, it says when Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but half an end. So we at the end of this nigga, man. Okay. Hey, we at the part where Jacob's hand is holding fast Esau's heel. Okay. It's a brother you call hopeful 144. Sirach 25:7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. In the tent I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. You know, and we get to see the fall of our enemy, man. And we know the fall of our enemy leads to the joy, you know, of us being, you know, having the joy of family again, having the joy of the earth, having the joy, you know, of our children again. You see, we know this, man. Okay, so yeah, man, we in beautiful times. You know, like we got nothing to lose, all right, y'all, because we got everything to look forward to. So our mindset, you know, should be on the Lord. Continue pushing this spirit in the earth, the spirit of war, spirit of confusion amongst the enemy. Okay. And hopefully we'll cover, man. You know, hopefully, you know, there's a remnant that's going to have mercy. That's promised to have mercy in these times, man. There's a good chance we're a part of the remnant, man, if we endure and keep going. So, you know, we'll leave it there. You know, Lord will, you brothers. All right, and keep you sisters was edified once again. I give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to which younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful and Shalom.